Ask Reddit. What's something dumb people do that smart people don't? Buy into multi-level marketing companies like detox teas, herbal companies, waist trainers, etc. Yeah, that thing is all dumb, but you should see these bad knives I sell. List their education on social media as a degree from the School of Hard Knocks. I know someone, relative of my significant other, who claims they graduated from college on their own Facebook page when they didn't even go to high school. It's so aggravating because my significant other is the first person in her family to go to college, not counting an aunt who went for one semester and failed out, and will be the first to graduate at the end of this year. She has busted her ass, fought with financial aid and student loans, and dealt with decision to change her major, which added an extra 1.5 years to her schooling. This family member of hers was homeschooled for high school and didn't actually finish it. Dumb people are always blissfully unaware of how dumb they really are. Patrick Starr. In fact, many dumb people think they're exceedingly smart. Dunning-Kruger effect, if I recall. Dumb people didn't understand how to play Jenga. Met a 20-something-year-old guy that didn't understand why he couldn't pull a block supporting the entire structure on one side. I was so amazed. Some people refrain from pulling out their wood in group settings. Share those stupid posts on Facebook. One like and Facebook will donate this poor suffering child. Type amen and share if you love Jesus. I had no idea how dumb some of the people I went to high school with were until the Facebook share thing started. I was working on electrical outlets the other day and I forgot my thing. I used to check if they're live across the room, so I unscrewed the outlet, pulled it out from the wall, and tapped the brass screw with my driver and looked for the spark. Smart people don't do that. LOL, across the room, so far sometimes. Not using protection, and they end up with 3 kids by the age of 20 with 3 different dads, all of whom aren't in their children's lives. Not changing a smoke detector's batteries and instead just tuning it out. I had to take batteries out of my carbon monoxide detector because the constant beeping was giving me a headache. Post their entire life on social media. Nobody cares, and there is just a chance some employer person of authority can judge you on it at a later time. That's my fear, and why I distance myself from old accounts. Some things even I wouldn't bring up again. Not NSA specifically, but just people looking for leverage. Show up to the hospital with no idea the names and dosages of their daily medications. I take a white pill, it's oval shaped, and a blue pill for my heart. Couple hours later, oh, insulin. Yeah, I take insulin. I don't think that counted as a medication though. What kind? How much? Well, hell if I know. Definitely agreed. Or, do you have any health issues? No. But then proceeds to rattle off high blood pressure, cholesterol, allergy and heart meds, insulin, etc. Dumb people think their opinions mean something. Smart people know they are a dime a dozen. Literally anyone can have them. Smart people have their hypothesis. Base your opinion of an entire group of people based on one interaction with a person from said group, or base it from what you see on TV. They're shocked or even offended when anyone, smart or dumb, deviates from a norm they follow. I don't get it. It's like they can't learn that some people live their lives differently. Cashing out in Shinjuku. Sorry man, I actually haven't heard of that show, so I don't know who that actress is. I really don't watch TV. Sounds like a cool show though. My standard line for this situation? Basic bro I work with, he only has 1 pair of shoes. They're Sperry's. What? Broham's eyes narrow. He's overcome with emotion, simultaneously confused, mortified, and suspicious. The fact that I don't know the actress was pretty shocking. But I don't even know the show, and that concept has temporarily broken his brain. And then there's the concept that some people out there don't watch TV. That is just too much. It's a violation of his culture. So, after a noticeable pause while all of this is being processed, the bro raises an eyebrow and asks me in a deeply judgmental tone of voice, "You don't even watch TV? Then what do you do instead?" The thing is, he doesn't actually care what I do instead. He wasn't interested in learning more about my hobbies and interests. He's demanding an explanation and won't ask me any further questions after I answer. That's how this situation plays out every single time. Forsake you dumb, surely I'm not the first person you've met who does things differently than you. Payday loans. To be fair, they are all not dumb, just people with no financial sense and get themselves into never-ending circles of short-term borrowing. They need to borrow to pay what they borrowed last week, and every transaction costs them $20 to $50. I guess at the cost because I haven't used a payday loan. I just recently broke free of payday loan cycle, and it's more trouble than it's worth. First off, to get stuck in that web of evaporating paychecks, you'll need is a bank statement, a recent pay stub, and depending on the business, a blank check. Depending on the business, you may need subsequent checks for future loans, or no check at all. So now that you've completed the paperwork, you're asked how much you want to borrow. The loans go from $50 to $225, and the fees you'll pay are quite high. If you can't pay the amount or late on payment, they'll automatically cash the check and get the money, so now you have the bank and those wonderful overdraft fees. If you're already overdrafted and they can't get ready for the collection calls, it's all due to the paperwork you're signing allowing them to do it. It took me a second job to claw out of that mess and basically devoting my checks to paying off the loans. It absolutely sucked. The whole business model relies on you constantly reborrowing after you've paid off the previous loan. It's way too easy to fall into the trap and get stuck. You'll only find these establishments in lower income areas. It's legal loan sharking at its finest, and it's a long and difficult process to get out of. Wait for paychecks to do things they probably can't afford to do and end up broke a few days before the next paycheck. Rinse, repeat. In other words, they have an extremely short-term view of finances. And then something blows up and they're forced to get a payday loan, compounding their financial woes. Now, not only are they broke, but in debt too. Smart people keep a buffer and a budget. Their spending does not revolve around payday. Some people earn so little that they can't afford necessities, to be fair. Not everyone earns enough to keep a buffer, but earning enough to afford a buffer and not keeping one, that's stupid. Learn maths by heart instead of logic. Bull. Learn it both ways. You do not want to be rederiving all of mathematics each time. At the same time, you do not want cargo cult plug and chug. You should be able to do any problem in your work by rote and be able to fall back on theory when needed. Play the lottery. It's just a tax for people bad at math. I had a revelation moments ago reading another comment. I play the lottery. I have expectations of winning. However, for those few hours between buying the ticket and draw, there is a lot of excitement imagining what could be if I were to win. I don't get disappointed as I didn't expect to win. Those few hours of excitement is worth the £2. Not budget. Smart people budget their money and exercise restraint with their finances. Sure, I would love to run to the casino and blow $300 on the poker table and go out to a fancy restaurant every night, but I only make $60K a year and I can't afford it. I've never met an intelligent person who had rims on their car. Tattoo prioritization. I've known very smart people with lots of tattoos, but I've also known people struggling to pay their bills that think now is the perfect time to get an entire sleeve done. I had fancy rims on my car for a while because my brother refused to stop messing with it. Naturally, those aftermarket rims sucked and dented within a few months. They are now his bedside table. He then painted my regular wheels black while I yelled at him not to. I've always heard that the dumbest people are usually the loudest voice, while the smart people usually keep ideas quiet due to the risk of the dumb people's reactions. Believe in conspiracy theories and/or literally interpret religious texts. I don't think there's anything wrong with belief in a higher power, but you shouldn't be literally interpreting most texts of questionable authorship, veracity. Spend all their money on things they don't need. Don't mean this on an edgy way, but if you are poor or don't have that many means, stop buying stupid high-end consoles and phones for your family members. Get into debt on things that aren't essential. I'm a big proponent of poverty being a causative factor for a lot of social and personal issues, but at times, People seem to go out of their way to prove the exact opposite. Dumb people have a huge tendency to get things done. They're more willing to take on a challenge and tackle the obstacles, which is sometimes the only way. I find that smart people spend their whole lifetime figuring things out. They're always trying to figure out an easier way and a quicker way. And another thing I found out about smart people is that they just don't get around to doing nothing. Art Williams. Probably already been said, but more often than not, dumb people will tell you they're smart, and smart people will say they're not smart. Obviously, there are exceptions, but it's a general observation. I kind of feel like dumb people are more likely to tell everyone how smart they are, while smart people are likely to tell people how little they know. I know there are also arrogant smart people as well, but when someone brags about their intelligence, I immediately believe that this is probably an idiot. I also feel like most smart people know that they understand very little, in the grand scheme of things, and are more humble about what they do know. I very rarely view anyone as stupid because I feel as though nearly everyone is better than me at least one skill thing. I try not to judge people for not knowing something I might think is common knowledge, because the opposite is most likely true, and an intelligent person asks questions, just not all the time. I admire this view. Surely someone has made you shake your head in sad disbelief, though. Yeah, this runs along the lines of my answer. I can't say smart people never play the lottery. It's fun on rare occasion, more buying the thrill of thinking you might win or something than actually because it's a good fiscal move. But there's a small limit to how much money you can spend on lottery tickets and still be considered generally intelligent. Compulsively playing gambling games that are all luck and no skill, like lotteries, Keno, or Scratchers. They have no understanding of probability, yet they insist that you can't win if you don't play, as if they don't realize the plus side of not playing, which is not winning but also not losing your money. I eat at a restaurant that has a Keno machine, and I see the same people there every day just blowing through a couple $100 in a sitting because they think by continuing to play, they're paying dues for that one big life-changing win. It's almost like winning the lottery is their main ambition.